Hey everyone, welcome back to Work in Process. I'm Daniel, and today I've got someone sitting across from me who I've been wanting to get on the podcast for quite a while. Laura Sockrider is our operations coordinator here at Reisinger, but that undersells the title a little bit because before she was running our systems, she was a trained interior designer. She's got a design degree from UT Austin. She's worked with names like Restoration Hardware and O'Hara Interiors, and spent years as a lead designer and project manager there, managing full home remodels from concept to installation. So today we're going to talk about two things that are actually the same thing if you squint. First, her background as a designer, the training, the projects, the stuff she learned running design and PM work for years. And second, how that background shows up in the work she does for us every day here at Reisinger Build, the systems, the processes, the invisible stuff that keeps this company running smoothly behind the scenes. Laura, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. Before any of the operation stuff, before Reisinger Build, take me back. What pulled you towards wanting to be an interior designer in the first place?
Sure. I honestly thought I wanted to be an architect. I originally applied to go to architecture school, and the route that I ultimately ended up taking came about because of going into the School of Undergraduate Studies, and I took one of the electives that were required, and it was with the Dean of Interior Design, was the professor, and Dr. Kwalik. And I honestly was like, oh my gosh, this is the part that you get to engage with. Like, this is the part of the home that you experience and get to fully enjoy, like the details, all of the things that come together, those little pieces and parts that really are the accumulate. And so, yeah, I think that ultimately I was like, color, texture, material. That's where I want to be. I want to be with the interior designers.
Yeah. And so what was that class specifically?
I think it was called Living Color or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, she just was I think it was interesting. I think she actually assigned each of us a topic. And so we were teaching each other.
Oh, fun.
Which is, great for a professor to come up with a curriculum.
And so was like immediately after that, you're like, okay, I'm switching, or did it take some time for you to make that switch?
UT only takes internal transfers. So I worked my freshman year and then transferred into the School of Architecture at UT as a sophomore. So that was the goal, from day one of starting school at UT was I'm going to get into the School of Interior Design, and it's or the School of Architecture Interior Design.
Yeah.
I think my graduating class was like 10 people.
Oh, wow.
So it's fairly competitive. I don't know what it is now, but it was very much worth it.
All right. So I was looking through your resume, and I saw that you had a minor in art history.
Yeah.
I also went to UT, and my sister actually majored in art history, and I took some art history classes as well. So what about art history? Like how do you bring that, or do you bring that at all into your design?
Yeah, I ended up doing that because I knew from day one that I wanted to study abroad in Italy. And there was a professor there that she was an archaeologist. And so I wanted to take all of her graduate courses. And I was just taking them on top of my, your 12.
Right.
So you don't have to pay for them.
Right.
And so I feel like it was about giving myself the background of knowledge for getting to experience it in person.
Sure.
and the architecture and being able to fully appreciate what I was seeing in real life and have the culture, the history. And so bringing that into building, I think it's the same thing where I really like to understand what it is, why it is. And then that way you can really speak to that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I think you worked at O'Hara the longest of all places. Yeah. So what was your position there? And I think there was some evolution with your positions day to day. Like what were your roles there?
Yeah, I started, 2017, moved to Minnesota, big culture shock, negative 20 degrees. But I did get the opportunity to train there at their main location for 10 months and as a design assistant, and then worked my way from there to associate designer, interior designer, and then lead designer. I did move back to Texas. That was always the plan. After 10 months, it started getting a little cold around October. And I was like, send me back.
Ready to go.
Yeah. No more snow for me. And so I worked with the Austin team. I mean, born and raised Texan, love Austin, always was going to come back here and work here and live here. So that's where I evolved into a lead designer. And then I kind of got to this point within the team here in Austin and our business. We had a lot of projects, so many projects. And we grew to a point where we had all of these really talented designers and they needed more support. They had the creativity down. They had the engaging like personality, but what they needed was someone that was really technical, really organized, that was able to listen to the challenges that they were having every day or a conversation that they needed to have that was uncomfortable and like coach them or give them direction and, you know, have those difficult conversations. And I enjoyed it. Like I was, you know, you really enjoy things that you're good at. And so I kind of became more of this administrative project manager and customer service. So in this kind of evolution, I diverged from being full-time. I still kept my clients and my referrals. Yeah. I am still a creative and I really enjoy building, like making the selections and engaging with the clients. So I did keep my ongoing projects and any referrals that I got. But then on top of that, I moved to customer service, liaison with the warehouses. I coordinated the logistics for an international furniture delivery in Cabo, which is probably the most complicated learning.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, that sounds so interesting.
Yeah.
Not only the location and the distance, but the job itself. I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of our repeat clients. So it was their like vacation home. The furniture itself was all coming from our vendors in the US. And then what I did was I coordinated with a logistics company that had a partner with a freight forwarder. And thank God for that team because their ability to work together and their experience in having made many trips essentially from California by truck down through Mexico to Cabo so that we could just show up literally the week of and, you know, have everything show up and meet us there. One of the most, you know, just to like share a learning was when we were getting ready to load the trucks and we were working on, you know, customs and forms and things like that. They were like, did you tell the vendors that everything had to be heat treated, like the wood? Because everything, all of the packaging cannot go across, you know, internationally if it's not. And so we had to actually have them to verify. And ultimately it was, I think we were good, but we had to be sure. And so we had to pay for them to completely unpackage everything and make sure. Wow. And I was like, boy, that's something that, you know, you wish you knew before you needed to do it.
Do that on the next one.
Yeah, the next one for sure. Yeah, totally. But it was a lot of fun. It was.
So at your role with that transition, I mean, you were sort of developing and implementing systems and processes, something you have an aptitude for. That wasn't something that you had planned on doing career-wise, right? Is sort of something you discovered?
Yeah, no, I think that's really accurate. I found myself really shifting in the direction of administration and management and analyzing like, oh, you know, where are these deficiencies and what would support us to not have to deal with them. And so like when you talk about what kind of expectations, what kind of communication, like what's the format that you can sit down with a client and review a service agreement and have them actually understand the high level or what's the most important to them. Or, if there's like a travel agreement that we need to put together in advance so that they understand the implications of the decisions that they're making. I think that there are a lot of tools that you don't know you need them until the first time you don't have it.
Well, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So you're basically running operations for the design studio. When this position came up at Reisinger, what made you jump towards that?
So I was familiar with you guys, and I really believe in this team. And I don't know that you even know this, but this wasn't the first time that I found out about you guys, and I actually was on projects with members of the team. And so I was an interior designer as a member of the team designing a few homes. And I had the privilege of working on Matt's father-in-law and parents, essentially, home. And I love that home. And so I familiar with you guys. And I always was like, man, I would love to be a part of that team, because I really believe in what they do and how they do it and the process and the innovation. Yeah. So this role gave me, I think, the unique ability to learn more about building and things that as an interior designer, you don't necessarily, a lot about a little bit, you want the whole picture. I wanted to have, I think that the novel, engaging experience of all of those pieces, like now I'm getting to know how the walls are put together. I just yesterday, there's a lot of insulation. I'm learning about vapor and water barriers, and it's important. Mm-hmm. And all of those things that I was selecting and putting in a home, it was just, yes, here's what I'd like it to be, make it so. Yeah. And now I get to find out how. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Awesome. And so as operations coordinator, you get to see all the different aspects. So I think probably that it's working out well for you in that regard. But that title, operations coordinator, could mean a lot of different things depending on where you are. If you're at a dinner party, how do you explain to somebody what it is that you do?
Yeah. I feel like it's not necessarily that I'm a professional decision maker anymore, but in a way, I'm still doing my best to efficiently guide people to make the best decisions for themselves based on their needs and wants. Mm-hmm. So especially in pre-construction and even, vetting leads that are coming in and interested to work with us. As an operations coordinator, I'm listening to what everyone around me is saying, the project managers and anything that is kind of going on at the teams, within the teams. And I'm looking for where we can make changes that ultimately benefit everyone's day to day, which helps the client experience.
Absolutely.
And then also the business's overall profit.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We want to stay in business.
Yeah. Yeah. Build beautiful homes.
All right. So I think the way that because you do so many different things, if I kind of break down your roles and responsibilities into different tiers, let's start with the branding and communications part of it. You manage our Instagram account. You help produce this very podcast. And you also respond to the hello at email. So that's how people get in touch with us, either through our website or just cold calling us. So what does that process look like, and how do you bring your interior design education to that aspect?
I feel like I'm really trying to stay connected to the excitement and what's actively going on. And so I'm enjoying the purpose of going to the project manager and be like, hey, what's cool that's going on at your job site, or what stage is this at, and really thinking about, well, what would other people want to see? Yeah. And how do we curate and have really sophisticated and informative posts that are also representative and beautiful of the work that we're doing and our clients. Yeah. But also, we're the variety. And there's a formula, right? And in social media and things like that. But I think consistency and keeping it simple, you really don't have to overthink it. We engage with so much, with scrolling. And I think that for me, it's about authenticity
Yeah.
and transparency and education. I think education is pretty important to this team. And
For sure. I think too, like with the Instagram, our projects are so varied. Everyone's got different personalities. We have this portfolio of pictures. There's a lot that could happen, but I think curating it in a way that is sort of a consistent representation of who we are and how we operate is not that easy to do. But I think like it comes across well and gives people who are following our account, which is @ATX, by the way, a good sense of who we are and what we do and how we do it, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the intake process, what you're working on by responding to the hello@risingerbuild.com emails.
Yeah. So we do have a form on our website that if you're looking to contact us, you fill that out and it does send to me, essentially. And then I'm filtering through that, providing to the best of my ability what you're looking for. So that could be a builder recommendation. It could be a consultation with one of the managing partners. And that typically is for our interested clients that are out of state. Most often, they're out of state or out of our scope.
Oftentimes, they're build show fans that have questions about their projects, and we can offer advice on a consultation basis.
Yeah, those consultations have been really interesting, and they tend to be kind of we've had one that is building like equestrian centers. We've had one that is, doing car condos. So I think that they're like those, not necessarily
totally.
Yeah, like we can talk about and educate how to build most anything in that context. And then, of course, the primary reason for it is to bring in leads. So like the ones that are interested in building their, beautiful and extremely well-built and well-designed home with our team. So starting the process of like, what are you looking for? I send out a questionnaire. They're telling me, the high level estimate of what they're wanting to invest and what they're looking to create, how big it is. And then we kind of take it from there to the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. That I think is a good segue into what that next step is, which is sort of the discovery phase and then into pre-construction phase, which is also part of your job of what you manage. Talk to me a little bit about what your role is in that sort of discovery and pre-construction phase and how you sort of juggle all those things.
I think discovery is a really exciting time because everyone's kind of going on those first dates and you're setting up the expectations for communication and really just getting to know each other and the team. People may come to the table with members of the team already. They may be looking for recommendations. So they may be coming to us first.
Right.
They may have an architect, they may have an interior designer, or they may be looking for recommendations for that team. And so that's where we're starting to just figure out where they're at, whether or not they have plans, whether or not they want to have plans before or even land. Do they know where they're going to build?
Right. That's right. Sometimes they come to us before they've got any of those things. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I think it can be a really exciting, very blue sky time. And so we try to be present for that and offer as many recommendations as they're looking for. And then once there's a little bit more of that established, we move into that pre-construction phase. Yeah.
And pre-construction, it's a bit of we're assembling a team if there isn't one already, and that's design professionals, engineers, all the different players that go into developing those plans. And it's a lot. It's a lot of people, a lot of meetings, a lot of different voices. So part of what you do is sort of coordinate all of that, right? And help not only develop the schedule, but keep us on schedule, which is an important thing to do because sometimes on our projects, that pre-construction phase can be quite long and sometimes the momentum dips a little. And it's important for us to stay engaged and keep everyone engaged so that that project continues to move forward in the direction that everyone would like it to, right?
Yeah. I mean, that pre-construction phase is the opportunity to prioritize the areas and the aspects of the build that are the most important. And that looks different for every client.
Right.
And, if you're a client that really loves music, you're an audiophile, Like you're going to want to, in that pre-construction phase, meet with the AV people and acoustic engineers and allocate significant portions of your square footage to home theaters or recording studios. Like that's the kind of custom that we offer. So I think it sets that standard of expectations for the specific client.
Yeah. And so with pre-construction, we offer a lot of constructability advice, but a big portion of what we do in that is really bring clarity to the pricing.
Yeah.
And so it's creating estimates and presenting those estimates. And so you've got a hand in that as well. You're sort of kind of all the things. Not by yourself.
No.
But as part of the team, the coordinator. And I think that for us, that's one of the most important things is really being aligned with the architects, the clients, and ourselves on what the cost of the build is going to be and have those realistic expectations and conversations before we get started.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely, and even just going back to like discovery and those conversations. I mean, we're having high level cost estimate, then mid-level. So it's really important that while there are a lot of things that all of us really want, it's important that you can afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that it's, that you're prioritizing because everybody has, let's say, it's never limitless.
Right.
So whatever your limits are, it's not that you want to allocate everything equally. Because like I was saying, that there are things that are more important to you.
That's exactly
right. So you want to make sure that where you are putting your investment is in the areas that are the most important to you. And that's the conversation that we want to say, oh, yeah, then this is how much this will probably cost you.
Yeah.
Is that in line with your expectation? If not, then let's, scale it back.
Yeah.
In size or scope, and that way it is what you are looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that is definitely the main benefit to having a pre-construction phase at all.
Yeah.
All right. So the sort of third tier part of your job is the operations side, I would say. And that's sort of within the team, like you had talked about, having conversations with all the different members and figuring out how can we be more efficient? How can we be more cohesive as a team?
I mean, I feel as though whenever I'm in that kind of day to day, I'm here in the office most often. I feel like I really enjoy getting to see the project managers come in and ask questions. And I think that, I come out of my office and I try to make a point to ask them, hey, like what's going on your job? And then also like being available, that kind of open door policy and approachable so that even without prompting, I feel as though people come to me with maybe not necessarily the word recommendations, but, hey, this is something that I've been thinking about. Can you make it so?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Let me just put that on my radar.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can, prioritize and make improvements on or initiate at the right time. So I think it really comes down to listening.
Yeah.
And I am fairly new. Right. So I think that I'm not interested in changing things just for the sake of saying that I changed something, that I've contributed. I think it's really important to figure out what's going on and learn how it is and what's working really well before changing any variables.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah. So one of our philosophies here is to always try to improve ourselves, our processes, the experience for the clients. And in order to do that, we have to sort of do some reflection and figure out what the deficiencies are, what the challenges are so that we can address them. And I think you sort of have a mind for that, right? A knack to be able to identify places that improvements can be made, which is super valuable. And I do think the fact that you are new is of benefit. Like you are not entrenched with how things have always been done. So you come at it with a different perspective, which I find super valuable. I've always had the philosophy, I don't discount experience, but I feel like experience always has to be qualified because you could say I've been doing this for 20 years, but if you've been doing it for 20 years wrong, then what good is that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I do appreciate you coming in and being able to sort of scrutinize how we do things in order to make it better.
Yeah, no, I think this is an amazing team. Very, very mentally flexible.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
I like that, mentally flexible.
Yeah.
If you had to describe a through line connecting interior design Laura and operations coordinator Laura, what is that?
Whoa.
What does that look like?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have an eye for the interior, like the proportion and scale and materials. And I think that, being able to visualize and then execute. So I think, oh man, I took some kind of, it was not necessarily like a personality quiz, but it was like attribute quiz. And it had to do with like being, a listener and, empathetic and essentially I would always explain it as like, I'm kind of like the Doctor Strange of it all. Though I'm really very nerdy, but like I can see all of the outcomes.
Yeah.
So like you come to me with a scenario and I can see all of the different outcomes. And then I can pick the one that has the more favorable outcome. And then in addition to that, one of my strengths is that I can make action on it. I can activate it.
The execution part of it is critical.
Yes, execution. And so like those personality types, sometimes it takes a team. Sometimes somebody's really good at seeing all of the scenarios and it takes another person to activate.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm perfect at both, but I'm just saying that is something that I've been able to lean on as a strength. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. And I'm going to ask you some questions that are more get to know you kind of questions that are still related to the topic. This is going to be somewhat rapid fire. Favorite room in a house to design and why?
Ooh, I think I would say my favorite room to design. Well, I know my least favorite, but isn't that how our brains always work?
Which one is that? Tell me the least favorite.
My least favorite is a primary bathroom. Everybody puts so much pressure on it. I think my favorite isn't it. Like I have to explain it. Like it's not the great room. It's not the living room. It's the cozier, like side, like media room. That's lounge. Where everyone always goes. It's like the room that you don't attribute that much like
square footage
emphasis.
To.
Yeah, but everybody's
that's where
there.
You stay. Yeah, it's a great point. I like that. All right, so you minored in art history. Any artist or era that still influences how you see spaces?
Oh, I mean, I really enjoy Italian art. I'm a significant portion from Finnish, so Finland.
Okay.
So I really love Alvar Aalto and Marimekko, which is Marimekko is like a textile company.
Oh, okay.
And Alvar Aalto is an architect.
Okay.
So I have an affinity for some of those kind of Scandinavian.
I like it.
Yeah.
So do you still sketch for fun or?
So that's an interesting question. No, I've never really been a sketcher, if that's how you say that. And, but I really got into one of my COVID hobbies was watercolor.
Oh, yeah.
So I really enjoyed that a lot. And then once life got busier, more active, we were engaging with each other again, I kind of dropped that. But I've been recently kind of digging out my watercolors.
I love looking at watercolors. I don't know that I could ever do it myself because I feel like there is, obviously it's a skill, but, and you can manipulate the flow, but it seems to me like there's not enough control.
There is no control. Very little control. That was my challenge too.
Yeah.
Seriously, that was my challenge too. And it took working at it and letting go.
Yeah.
Because that is my personality too. Like I was like, I don't like this. It's going to go outside the lines.
Yeah.
But it can be really beautiful.
All right. So give me your best or worst freight / delivery horror story from your design stay. I mean, you kind of mentioned one already.
But I had such a great team that they more or less solved it with me, not necessarily for me.
Anything ever showed up broken or had to sit
all
in
the
customs
time.
for months?
I mean, I think the scariest is probably when a company goes out of business, and then you're trying to essentially, there are just so many complexities that come with furniture. And there's some relief in that we don't necessarily do that here. There are, just to advocate for interior designers and furniture people everywhere, like there's so much that goes on in the background. Like those damages, those repairs, those replacements. And I feel as though a lot of that happens without most of the end users ever knowing. And that's by design. But there's a significant amount of overhead and effort that goes into a lot of that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, we had things come in wrong colors, wrong fabrics, wrong dye lots, and we would see it before and have it remade. And so then, not that you're, hiding the truth, but when you say the lead time is longer, that might be why. And it's not that because you don't want to stress them out that it came out in wrong and that they're having to redo it, but it just took longer for them to get it right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. So how about this? One word that your coworkers would use to describe you.
Enthusiastic.
Okay.
I guess.
I like it. All right. So this is the question that we ask almost every guest. If you weren't doing this now, what would you be doing? Like what, and this is totally hypothetical, so you don't have to attach any parameters to it. What would you do for a job if it wasn't this?
The first thing that came to mind was essentially being a writer for, I would say, like Outside magazine. So getting to go to like national parks, hiking, backpacking, and taking photos and contributing to a magazine like that.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would be really fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for sitting down with us and kind of talking a little bit about what you do here and how you contribute to Reisinger Builds. We value everything that you do. And if you want to see some of Laura's work, check out our Instagram page, ReisingerBuild_ATX. And reach out, hello@reisingerbuild.com. So thanks so much.
Yes, thank you.
So that does it for another episode of Work in Process. If you have any questions, topic suggestions, or want to reach out to us regarding a project, email us at hello@reisingerbuild.com and follow us on Instagram at ReisingerBuild_ATX.